meridian as someone else that's thousands of miles away, you will simultaneously see stars. But in the south, that doesn't work. Like you can't be on the same meridian in Africa, the same meridian in South America, and the same meridian in Australia, and all see stars simultaneously. There's going to be, you know, hours like massive. The daylight and nighttime will never line. It's always going to be opposite. But if you're in Massachusetts or if you're in Russia, Alaska, and China, at some point throughout the day, you will be able to see stars simultaneously from all those locations. One time, for one person, it might be like just barely the crack of dawn. Another person, it would just start getting dark. Another person, it'd be midnight, but you will still see stars all at the same time. But you can't do that in the South. And South really is kind of different for everybody because South is just opposite of North. So, I mean, that means everyone South could potentially be different at any given moment.
Does anyone else in this room have an opinion on that? 'Cause I'm clueless at this point. It's okay, Vax. It's just me.
It's just the stars, man. They do what they want to do.
Right. Because that's something that someone said to me to go, well, how do you know what the stars are doing, Vox? You don't know. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, fair enough. But at the same time, you guys are making claims about what they're doing as well. I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant, but I never heard a single flat earther up until that moment claim that there's two center points of rotation. But then Nathan kind of goes, well, isn't there? I'm like, yeah, but I've never heard you say that before. But to be fair, though, you'll never hear them talk about that either. So who knows?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's like if you didn't have the information in your head, that's it. Like, if FED doesn't talk about it a lot, then yeah, I can totally see why. It was just so strange how just every single fucking flat earther in the room was going at you, like one at a time. It was like I was in disbelief. I was like, is he this wrong? I'm like, but you're sounding so confident about it. I was just fucking
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just it
That's
is
my
weird.
freaking cog diss right there. I don't know what the fuck's going on half the time in these conversations. That's why I don't fucking enter them. That's why it's funny when they were like, "Oh, let's test if he's a Glober or not. Let's give him the Glober
Mm.
test." I'd be like, "Oh man, I'd be so screwed if they gave that to me." Like,
It's just weird. I mean, what? Well, they started saying that I was reading Professor Dave's script. Like that's the other thing they kept attributing to me is scripts. Yet they're all the ones repeating what the other person's repeating to me. So it sounds like they're the ones coming off a script, not me. Situational awareness. Call me a fake Glober. I mean, a fake flat earther. And then say I'm reading the script. They were all taking their turn saying those exact same phrases to me, as if they're the ones cult chanting to somebody who's not part of their group. Oh,
well, here's the problem with that. That I found out that according to them, if you don't know every single argument that there is to do with flat Earth, and you don't know it off the top of your head without googling it, you're a Glober, according to them.
well, in the great words of Witsit, I'm not a fucking robot. When he said that the other day, when
That was
someone was at, oh, you gonna look it up? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm not a robot. I don't have every single moment of information logged into my brain. And yeah,
Yeah, and they say yeah, you should have like the basic stuff like down pat, which is true. I know you want to say, oh, I want to Google it so I don't get it wrong, but I don't know. I mean, like
yeah,
after so many years, you said that maybe have the definition like correct 1,000%.
oh,
That's
yeah.
why I
But
don't
I'm also
talk.
just
I got
retarded.
that's because I got freaking microwave brained for all these drugs and shit, and I don't fucking remember shit. So I'm on the same boat as you. If I gotta like go back and get it correct, then yeah, like you said, you know it, but you just want to don't fuck it
Well, yeah, I
up.
mean, for
So
that one instance when I was talking to that guy who was claiming that definitions didn't say something, and I said yes, they did say something. And that was weird too. Oh,
because yesterday we had a baby Glober come in, and
what's all
he
the
didn't
baby
know my
Globers over there?
like yeah, sorry, not baby Glober, a baby flat earther. My bad.
Ah,
And um, they were at immediately he said belief, right? So I stepped up and I called him out on that. Like, bro, like, there's not beliefs here. It's either you know or you believe. So I'm like, so do you believe you're a guy or do you know you're a guy? And then he quickly like fixed himself. And then we were like, okay. And then the room immediately jumped on him. We're like, oh, look at this guy. This guy's a LARPer. They're like, what's up, LARPer? What's up, Glober? The whole time they wouldn't stop calling him a Glober or LARPer. And this guy was literally just like, bro, it's like I just came in this room to like talk and like learn and shit and like I don't know. It's and then every single answer he gave to like prove that he's a flat earther, it was like, nope, this guy's a LARPer, this guy's a Glober, this guy's this, blah blah blah. And then like I wanted to interject myself. I wanted to be like, bro, like, do you not ask this guy how long he's been a flat earther first and like what he knows, like, because before FED, I was a fucking retard, and it took me so long to find FED, right?
Oh yeah.
So because it's just the
It took me
YouTube
like
algorithm.
almost 2 years.
Yeah. So I
Like, I
know
was
these
just talking to Dave Weiss and Jaron and Mark Sargent for 2 years, and then I found FED.
Yeah, so if you're down these other tracks, like you're gonna be a freaking retard half the time. So I'm assuming all right, this guy just hasn't, met us yet. He hasn't met the real fucking flat earthers, blah 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 blah. And the whole time the fucking our guys in 24/7 are just dragging this guy through the mud. And the guy ended up leaving. He's like, oh, this isn't fun. I just came to talk, or you guys are fucking being assholes. Right? It's like, yeah, that's what happens when you go there sometimes.
Yeah. That's why I was being cautious with that Donald guy when I went and got the definitions not last night, but the night before. Because I didn't know who he was. I wasn't sure. Yeah, he was a Glober, but has he been in the subject for 5 minutes or 5 years? And if it's only been 5 minutes, there's no point on ripping his head off because he's never going to take a serious look at it. I don't know. Like, if I'm a trained UFC fighter, like what joy do I get out of beating the shit out of fat old people in parking lots?
Yeah, that can be fun.
You know, that's it. That's just what I don't get.
That's like Sean Strickland right there, the psychopath.
What is it, UFC? I don't know any. I stopped watching UFC in like 2010.
Oh yeah,
When you
Sean
found out it
Strickland's
was
that guy
fake?
who, he beat up Sneeko, that streamer.
Vaguely.
There was like a YouTube streamer, and he got in the cage with Sean Strickland. Strickland just like viciously like beat the shit out of him.
He beat up the streamer that's always like trying to prank people on the street.
Yeah, and the streamer, but it was the streamer's fault because he got in the cage with him. He wanted to fight Strickland, and then Strickland's like, "All right, motherfucker," and just destroyed him. Like, it was bad. Like, the comments were like, "You should have taken it easier. You're a trained fighter." Blah blah blah. And then all the other comments were like, "That guy deserved it. Thank you for doing that." Like,
yeah, that's the guy who always goes like, "Yo, you want to get wavy, my boy?" That guy, like, he'll walk up to random people and then they'll go, "Oh, it's just a prank. It's just a prank." Is that the same guy? That's not him.
Kind of. Yeah, he's one of the internet figures. He's on Twitch. One of those fucking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
one of those punch.
the funniest one was there was some live streamer in Korea or something, and he was calling people out to come fight him. So people started coming out in the street and started trying to fight him, and he's like running away.
Johnny Somali. His name is Johnny Somali.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm Somali. I don't know. I'm a boomer. I don't know about such things. Yeah, I'm gonna be 49 next month. I'm getting old.
Jeez.
Holy shit, you don't look 49.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. About to be 36 though. It's weird, like the 30s.
You feel like you're 49, right?
No, I feel exactly the same as I did when I was 21. The only thing that bothers me is now, like when I turned 35 last year, I thought I was turning 36, and I thought that for like literally half the year because I'm retarded and I forgot how old I was. So when I found out I was only turning 35, I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's like a time machine. Like, I noticed, like, once you get past like 32, it starts becoming harder to keep track of your actual age. I don't know why that is.
Once you hit a billion seconds old. it stops counting till you hit 2 billion.
That's 33 years, right?
It's like 32 years and like 8 months or something.
Yeah.
Your odometer rolls over.
Because, like I said, I count. When people ask me how old you, I'm over 1 billion seconds old. Then you see the steam start coming in out of their ears. Like, what does he mean? He's over 1 billion seconds old.
So how old is 1 billion seconds again? Sorry.
It's like 32 years, 8 months, I think. Let me double check.
All right, I'm almost there.
Seconds,
I just turned 29.
trillion seconds, like 33,000 years. I remember that was one of Dave Weiss's talking points about how long a trillion seconds is.
Sorry, it's 31.7 years. 31 years, 251 days, 13 hours, 34 minutes, and 55 seconds.
No, but I don't know. That whole server's weird because I had one of the mods in my DMs for like 3 hours last night arguing with me about refraction, for instance. And he goes, I'll let them claim refraction, but then I'll go through the Socratic method with them and tell them how they're wrong. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Why would you give them something that's incorrect? Like, that's the thing they do over there. They literally give the baller their begging the question. I just don't get it. You know, because I'm on the firm stance that looking over the water and seeing oil rigs, and if something's wavy, that's literally not what refraction is because it has nothing to do with Snell's law. But then his rebuttal was, well, what if they say the Fermi principle? Look, yeah, the Fermi principle's not refraction either, you drooling moron. I just don't get, I don't know. It's getting weird. What up, Sasha? You must be busy smoking.
Maybe I will be noisy. I'm making some kind of pie.
Making some kind of pie? Nice.
Yeah,
You do a lot of baking.
pie. Yeah.
I hate, dude, I am so, like, baking's like my weakest, when it comes to like culinary, I'm not a good baker. Some people are good at it, I don't have the feel for it.
Well, I worked in bakery in Croatia, in bakery in Italy, and bakery in England.
Oh, nice. Yeah, baking and being on a pastry station in a restaurant was never something I enjoyed.
Anyone else here forklift certified?
Forklift certified.
No, okay, never mind. I don't know. We're just talking about our jobs. Usually, when someone else is forklift certified, they'll start laughing.
Forklift. Sir, I got you. I think you said forklift. Like, what does that mean? I thought it was like some Discord lingo.
You mean tow motor certified?
What'd you say again?
You mean tow motor certified? Because I've operated tow motors.
Oh, there we go, buddy. Welcome to the club.
Not certified though, but I have operated them for like 2 years.
Oh, it's 2 years, 2 minutes. You're good enough, bud. Get on board.
I've been forklift certified before, and dude, it was awesome. I was treated like a god.
Oh yeah, get out of the way or get run over.
Well, yeah, until I broke a bunch of shit and got my forklift certification taken away.
Yeah, thankfully I never broke anything worth anything anyway.
It's because one day I had to get in a stand-up forklift, and those things don't have the same feel.
Yeah, there are different ways stuff happens, but I think the worst I've ever done is Well, it was kind of tight, and they had a wall built up there. It was made out of wood to separate the two docks, loading docks, and it was so tight that when I made my turn, I touched the wall and made it separate a little bit with the pallet, right? So not so bad. And the other time was they loaded up my pallet with like these cans, and I took the turn a little too fast, and the cans flew off, and I crushed a couple. But that didn't matter because that's exactly what they were going to do to the cans anyway. They were going to empty them, rip them apart, and look at the welds on them. So it didn't matter that I crashed it. It was just I made a mess, right?
Nice.
I used to work at the liquor distribution branch, which is we get all the liquor from in BC from just everywhere all the world, and then we ship it off to the stores. And that was holy crap! If you think that the government wastes money, just wait till you work there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. So say a 24 pack of beer, you pick it off the shelf. If one can is dented, broken, or anything, even like a little dent in it, one can, you have to pour all 24 cans of liquor down the drain.
That makes no sense.
I know. So I was on a station. I was a janitor for a while, and I would go around, and if one bottle is broken in a 12 case of bottles, all 11 bottles, I'd break them, and the liquor would fall down the drain. And there's someone currently 24 hours a day stationed there dumping liquor down the drain as we speak, and it never stops. That's how much liquor they dump.
Well,
They could have
for
donated that liquor to the homeless.
well for glass bottles, it makes sense because a glass bottle you might have pieces of glass in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
break them, okay. But when it comes to aluminum cans, they don't. A little dent on it doesn't cause the aluminum to, bring shards of glass or something.
Dude, my wrists were so strong from having the bottle opener and open. I was like like all day.
You didn't do the twist offs. I hated doing the twist offs, man.
No, yeah, those are really easy. Those are super easy. Just and then the wine bottles, you just there's like a hole, like a metal spike, and you just put the bottom through it, and then liquor just comes out the bottom.
Yeah, because they want to do
But
they want to do it
I've
fast,
done-
right?
Oh yeah, we're like I can break the bottle, put it aside, break the bottle, put it aside, break the bottle, put it aside. I can do a whole 12 case in like under 30 seconds of wine or Captain Morgan spirits, anything. Yeah, I've definitely dumped millions
but it
down
wa-
the drain.
but it was
Million.
but it was just the low shelf liquors, right?
No.
Even top shelf.
No. Oh yeah. Everything, dude. I've dumped like $1,000 bottles down the drain, dude. It's
Crikey.
Oh,
yeah,
so not just
like 25-year-old whiskey, like I forget what they're all called. I wasn't a drinker, but even like 40-year-old, 30-year-old. Oh yeah, we're dumping that shit.
What was wrong with them that had to be dumped?
One bottle broke.
One bottle on the
One
case,
bottle
bro.
broke out the box.
Wow.
Yep, that's it. Because they can't ship it. They can't ship because the supplier pays for 12, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then when there's 11, there's error in the system, right? And according to the government, what they said, it costs more money for them to ship like things back
Back,
than it
exactly.
does. Yeah, than it does just to dump it in the drain.
Yeah.
I remember I was new there. I was like, it was my first week on the forklift. And I don't know if they were like testing us or joking around. They must have been testing us and joking at the same time because most people don't give a fuck around there. They don't care about the prices. It's government, right? So they're like, hey guys, you and you come help us. And we were pretty good. And they were like, all right, we have an order at the cage. We got 4 pallets of this specific liquor. and it's at the cage. And if someone mentions the cage and you go into the cage, you're instantly scared. Because when they say cage, it's usually only a supervisor is allowed to access the cage, because the cage has the most expensive liquors like out there, right? So I pick up the one pallet, and he's not telling us what it is. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, all right, what the fuck is this? How much is it? What am I carrying? So it turned out that each bottle was like $550, and there was like 12 in a case, and then the whole pallet was like 56 cases. So we calculated that each pallet was like $250,000 we were carrying. We were like, oh, this is fun for our first week on the forklift.
Yeah, but that's retail price, so not wholesale price.
Yeah, it's not what it cost them, but I mean, like, still, like, it's like, fuck, it was nerve wracking. But then eventually, when you're there so long, you realize that you can't really get fired unless you punch someone in the face. I've spilled pallets. I've spilled whole pallets going around the corner. All of a sudden, fucking like 40 cases of Captain Morgan's that's just broken. And they're like, well, I guess that's what happened. You just move on with your day. Nothing happens.
Yeah, just blame gravity.
Good old government. Not for me, though. No jabby for me.
That's what they decided to let you go.
Yep, 5 years of working there, pension, benefits, everything. No, we're not gonna give you anything, and you can kick rocks in 2 weeks. Goodbye. Like, well, sayonara then.
Yeah, that's when you gotta tell the, oh, we want you to do this. Okay, you gotta pay me for that. My fee is $10 million. And then watch them go, oh, okay, well, we won't make you get that. And you also get them to sign a liability statement that they agree to pay for any liabilities and any problems that happen. They won't do that either. So there you go.
Yeah, there was ways definitely I could have went around it, but at the end of the day, that was one of the best decisions I've made, was to leave that place. I was like, it was just a place for people to die. I felt like I lost my athleticism. I lost like a lot of shit. The environment wasn't good. Not good people. Yeah, I'm happy where I'm at right now.
Yeah, sometimes those jobs, even though they're okay jobs, they're still life sucking, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the one I'm doing right now it's better. I'm just a delivery driver, right? But at least I can listen to my own music. I'm on Discord. Look at that. I'm on Discord right now, touching the shit while working, right? So it's awesome. Don't have a boss. I'm my own boss. It's another good part.
Yep.
My own hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. You know, I'm kind of my own boss as well, even though I can get called up and do a job. But if it's not an emergency, I get to do it at my own leisure. Like I gotta fix a little bit of wall there. Got to do some plastering on it. Yeah, it's been sitting like that for 2 months now. I'm gonna get to it this weekend or next weekend. You know, whenever. It's like
nice.
You know, I filled the holes. All the holes are filled. Now I just got to do that final coat, and then I got to paint it. And I did that. I also did that at another place. They wanted me to come in and fix a coat rack that was coming off the wall because somebody used the wrong kind of anchors on it. And then I had to fill the holes left over for some of these holes. And you're like, and you understand why drywallers don't want to do these jobs. Like a person who does drywall professionally, they don't want to touch these jobs because it takes them, like, even if it takes them an hour, that's an hour you're away from a real job where you're earning real money, and stuff like
Right.
that. And so it's like even myself, I still had to bill them $200 to do it. It's like it took me 3 hours total because I couldn't do everything in one day. So it was like I showed up, fixed the stuff from falling off the wall. Then the next hour, because I filled the holes and everything. And then the last hour, I prepped and painted, right? And that was over like 6 weeks time. And and it's like, well, I have to charge you an hour because it takes me 20 minutes to drive there and 20 minutes to drive back and at least 20 minutes to do the work. So that's at least an hour for me out of my day.
Yeah, you can charge whatever you want.
Yeah, I charge like $75 an hour to do that. And then at one of my other places, I just did some electrical. Two of the emergency lights failed their annual inspection, so I went out, grabbed two replacement LED emergency lights, and installed them. And one of them was a real pain in the ass because I have to work around whatever's in that office to get to it. So I'm working above a small little fridge, and that just makes things painful. And the other one was fine because it's in the middle of the hallway, nothing's in the way. But it took me 2 hours to do the one. I charged $200 for that one because I had to deal with all that bullshit.
That's how it works out at the end.
Yep. And then a couple months back, they had to get two or three windows. Three windows replaced because somebody had smashed their car into the windows, right? And he said, "Oh yeah, they're going to come in and remove all the shelving and the cabinets and all that stuff." And he goes, "But I need you here to make sure they don't screw up the internet service because the network is in the same spot, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I just sat there and watched them work. Stepped in for like 10 minutes when I had to okay, let me handle all the electrical because you guys don't have electrician screwdrivers. And you're working on live outlets using metal tools. So I did that. So I sat there for like 3 hours, watched them. I still charged like $150 just to sit there for 3 hours and do like 10 minutes worth of work.
Right.
But now I fixed their system better. Their network was a rat's nest, man. It was horrible. You look at it and go like, what is what here? I don't even know what is what anymore. So after the guys reinstalled all the cabinets and stuff again, then I went in and fixed everything up. So everything's nice and neat now. You can see where everything is going. It's not underfoot, And I mounted their modem up on the wall so you could actually see it without having to look underneath the desk. Because who puts a modem underneath a desk?
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
But then they're like, "Oh, you put it back there. Like, what are we supposed to do if we need to reset it?" I'm like, "We see that outlet right next to it." I typed out modem power, modem adapter, stuck it right on the modem adapter. I'm like, if you need to reset the modem, just pull that plug and put a plug in it. There you go.
Yeah. I was having PTSD flashbacks from early this morning. Something just popped into my head that I forgot about. I don't mean to change subject, but when we were talking about everything going east to west, all of them were screaming that it's not going east to west, it's going clockwise and counterclockwise, and that fucking it made my brain drip out of my ears when I heard them arguing this. I don't get it.
It's
There's got to be something up, man. I don't understand what's going on over there. Or maybe I'm just retarded.
Because
it's very possible. I don't ever exclude that.
Because on a circle, there's really no east and west. There's pseudo east and pseudo west. So you are technically going around clockwise. That's what the sun's doing and its stuff. So
Oh,
So, are you retarded? I'm joking.
no, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm a little retarded. But, I mean, I was just born that way.
most people are. Like, look how many people believe in the globe without even thinking for 3 seconds on it. Oh, they said it was a globe. Oh, okay.
Well, because I'm saying, because I'm like, so if you're in Australia, the sun's not going east to west. It does, but it's going clockwise. And for you, it's going counterclockwise. And then I said something to the effect, well, yeah, that's like having a clock, a transparent clock, and you stand on one side of it, and you see the hands going one way, and then you stand on another side, the hands are going the other way. Just like if you face north, east is right, left is west, and if you face south, left is right, east is west. I mean, left, whatever, flip it. But then they started, I like, wow, I don't get how any of that is controversial, but then they started all shrieking that I'm reading Professor Dave's script. I'm like, what the? I've never even watched a Professor Dave video. Anyway,
Nor
like,
should
I
you.
don't get it. Right, but how is that How's that reading Professor Dave's script saying that left and east and west changes whether you're like between left and right or right and left depending on what direction you're facing? It just is what it is.
Yeah, if you, like I
I don't
said,
know.
you go to Australia and you look up at the sun, and you're in the southern parts of Australia, and like, why am I looking northwards to see the sun? It seems weird when you're not used to it, right?
I mean, I guess. I don't know, like what Humble said. I thought these were all like just regular staples that everyone agreed on. I didn't get how saying the sun goes east to west for everybody in the world is somehow controversial all of a sudden. Because I noticed they kept going, "Oh, you're an ice earther, you're an ice waller." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're claiming the AE map. Like, no, I'm not. I don't know. Maybe they're upset. It's strange.
Just for my entertainment purposes, I think you should try again. I'm joking.
I might go back over there.
Just don't do it after you've had several beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more freaking me waking up in the morning and you're fucking going off. I love you, Vax. Great.
I ended up pulling an all-nighter. That sucks. I took a 2-hour nap and I feel fine now, but shit, I'm not like I didn't have any intentions on doing it. I was gonna go to bed at a decent time. The next thing I know, I got fucking that idiot in my DMs for like several hours. Who is he? He's a real emotional one. Heretic?
Commander Heretic.
Yeah, it was Heretic this time.
I don't know. I think you should do one of two things. One, you should go there with even more freaking venom. Just no, I'm joking. I think you just take the latter and just be like, "Hey, am I retarded or not?" And fucking see if it's your head again.
I'm not.
I don't
What do I don't need to validate anything from them. They're a bunch of morons. They don't even understand refraction. Like they're literally the ones that are behind me. Like you'll never hear them try to make an elevation angle argument because they don't know it. But the reason why they don't use it because it's not an argument that originated from their clique. Therefore, they don't like it. That's really what it all boils down to.
I don't know about that, brother. I think they're pretty well equipped over there.
They might have
They
preferences as to
talk
what they
about
like.
seeing too far an awful lot, and like, oh yeah, the refraction with the cranes. It's like that's not refraction. Literally, word for word by Snell's law is not refraction. So I don't know. Because I asked the dude, I said, can you give me one actual example of refraction? He refused to do it. He couldn't do it. It's like, dude, just say a straw in a glass. It's like if you're standing over a pond and you see fish and you got a spear and you try to stab that fish, you're gonna miss it. You got to adjust for where the fish is actually at because refraction is causing the fish to change its location. Like those are actual examples of refraction. Just standing at the beach and looking at the water, that there's no conditions for refraction. I mean, for one, what would be the two separate mediums? What's the hard boundary dividing the two mediums? There isn't.
Well, that's a typical refraction, what they call it, right? But you do have what's known as the atmospheric refraction, which
But that's all begging the question, and it's
and
not
it
even. It's literally just bastardizing what Snell's law actually states refraction is. So it's just
yeah. But like I say, we know that looking at stuff like mirages and stuff like that, that the temperature and densities of the air causes optical illusions, right? So
yeah, but a
so
mirage
that
is
would
not
be
refraction.
what most people think. I think that's what most globers think is refraction is that.
Yeah, but they're incorrect. But the thing is that over there, they think that's refraction as well. That's the problem. Hmm. I don't know. Maybe I just spent too much time over here. I don't branch out enough to other flat Earth areas. But I mean, other than that server and Earth Awakenings in this one, I
Earth
don't know of any other
Awakenings. Oh
flat
my
Earth areas.
goodness,
Well, that doesn't really
the,
count.
the land of misfit toys.
Yeah, that's more of a. I hear more about crypto on that server than I do anything else. Crypto and Trump. So I mean, that doesn't really count as. You're not going to hear anything new over there.
Yeah. Have you asked like Nathan or QE about it?
What about
Their thoughts?
refraction?
I don't know, just about the two poles. I don't know, whatever you're conflating in your head.
I kind of mentioned it to Nathan in passing. He goes, "Well, wait, are you arguing that there isn't 2 points of rotation?" I'm like, "Apparently, I am. I thought that was a consensus that there was just everything going east to west around Polaris. I don't get when did it like. I don't understand when that rhetoric changed for everybody.
Huh. Yeah, maybe start looking at that a little bit. I don't know. That seems to be just the one point that they're hung up on and freaking, which is very minute. It doesn't involve the shape of the Earth, but I don't know if they're
Well,
gonna.
that's hard because I was telling them that we don't observe the sky as a sphere, and they all flip their lids on that too. I don't know.
The sky is a hemisphere.
Yeah, but a hemisphere is not a full-blown sphere because they're claiming 2 points of rotation on a celestial sphere, which just begs the question that they're antipodal to each other, right? I mean, I don't like. Is there something I'm missing? How can 2 points opposite of a sphere not be antipodal to each other?
Some of the videos that I've seen where they talk about that phenomenon in the celestial sphere, and you'll see that as you change your latitude, the sphere angles and all that stuff changes, and so it's a little complicated to wrap your head around it sometimes. And like I said, the furthest south I've ever been is around the 22nd latitude, so can't say I've got good experience on everything that happens in the stars.
AI showed me a crazy video that absolutely blew my mind on how potentially the sky works, and it's not like it's not a proof or anything. It's just like a concept, and yeah, I got blown. I'm still to this day. I haven't talked about it with anybody, and I don't think I will until I fully understand it. But it was like how stuff rotated and different how you view things rotating and putting it. I don't know. I'll post the video eventually, but it's wild. And then he also said another one where it's the horizon could just be our limitation of how far we can view, right? And just like, and it perfectly equals the globe math according to how far you can see through your like eyes and cornea, something like that. Like
Yeah, but that changes
literally,
on a day-to-day basis. How far the horizon is. So I mean, that doesn't make sense.
yeah, I
I
guess
mean,
so.
you go out to the water at like 7 o'clock in the evening, and then you go out there again like 9 o'clock in the morning the next day, and I mean that horizon could be in completely different areas.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, but yeah,
Like the horizon's not a fixed point. It's always fluctuating with the weather.
mm.
I don't know.
Well, he just said that it perfectly aligns with the globe math. So like that's the reason why they hijacked just like like perspective and just made it into a globe. That's kind of he was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, but if the horizon perfectly aligned with the globe math, then how would the black swan observation be? Like, I mean, what was that? What would that be? That makes the radius of Earth to be like over 280,000 miles instead of 3,959. I don't know. It's just,
Refraction. All right. It's like you can't get globers anywhere with this fucking shit, right? We know what it really is, right? Like you just said, but you know, globers are stuck. Here, I got the video. It's kind of wild.
did you post it in the chat? Keep forgetting I don't have chat terms for another whole week.
Yeah, just posted
Well,
it.
wait a second. Was it the thing with all the dots on it? Like he would like. I think I
Yeah.
saw this video with you guys. Yeah, I was watching this with you guys that night, but I was in the middle of something, so I couldn't actually like. I could listen, but I couldn't watch my phone screen. Okay, I'm glad because I meant to see that again. Yeah, because remember, like he kind of made everything start moving without actually changing anything. Like it was all an optical illusion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's wild, dude. Like the merry-go-rounds and all that stuff. It's like, bro, this stuff's wild. And when it's like perfectly
yeah.
lined up like, linearly, like it looks fine. But then when you put it like at like an angle, it like totally looks like it's like just turning around. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
don't know what it means, but it's just something interesting.
Yeah. I need to look up my definition for entropy again and make sure I got that squared away.
What up, G?
Good evening, ladies and germs.
What's good?
What's up,
Uh,
Jay?
hey, good to see you all.
Hey, what's your opinion about 2 points of rotation in the sky for the north and the south being separate?
To tell you the truth, shit if I know.
Yeah,
Frankly, I've not been to the South, like the deep, deep, deep South, as far as south of the equator. So
right.
I've really not been able to do my own observations. And it makes me always hesitant to try to explain what other people have seen simply because I know that the way the stars have been explained to me over years and years and years, that when I look up at the sky, it's nearly nothing like that.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a point of contention if you say there's only one point of rotation. But like I said, I was just unaware of the rhetoric change. I didn't realize that we switched it up and said there's two now. So I guess I got to get with it.
Uh, who's saying that there's two? I mean, that would be new to me, frankly.
The entire politics server.
No, yeah, well, maybe they're hanging around the retards too long. There's a reason I don't go to the politics.
Literally every. But see, my thing is, I know it didn't dawn on me till early this morning. It seems like at least like 25-30% of them are Australians too. So I don't know. Maybe that just changes the vibe with that whole argument. I don't know. But
Well, here's the problem with servers like the politics and religion is that you get enough globetards in there, and
oh, no, these are
so
all flat earthers telling me this.
no, I know. What I'm saying
Oh,
is
okay.
when you get around enough globetards, you end up you don't affect them in the long run; they affect you in the long run. And so ultimately, and you hear enough of their bullshit over time, you start to pick up one or two things. And I would be hard pressed to claim that there's two. I don't know how two would work. Because if you had some second point, that would mean then some parts of the southern hemisphere, at least I would think, wouldn't see the same stars as other parts of the southern hemisphere because the point would be somewhere.
Right.
So that's. But then again, since the final excrement, we've been hearing flat earthers say all kinds of retarded shit.
Right.
Like I've actually been told by a flat earther that I was not a truth seeker because I doubt that shit's telling the truth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's getting pretty vicious. Flat Earth on flat Earth violence is increasing.
yeah.
I'm all for it. I mean, what?
I mean, I don't do myself any. I mean, I'm kind of a dink too in there sometimes, but
He's actually. This may actually be one of Dave Weiss's best analysis of of anything that he's speculated on before. He's actually come out with some pretty good analysis and speculation and figuring some other factors as to how they could have actually been in Antarctica, and then it is, and that the sun was potentially faked. He's got some interesting anecdotal evidence, and he's now saying that he refuses to talk to Jaron.
oh,
Which is a big departure. And so he kind of said sarcastically, he's like, no, Jaron and Whitsitt are not shills, they're pawns. And he kind of gives a little bit of look, like making you realize that he is saying that they're shills.
right.
I always called them the Three Amigos, and I guess the final excrement here is even fractured
Right.
that.
Correct. That was the one thing that really tripped me up when I saw that Jaron and Whitsitt, Jaron and Weiss were like attacking each other. Like I thought they were like, you know, best friends since like childhood kind of shit. You know, like it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because there were always two
Uh,
peas in the same pod. They were always on the same page with everything.
yeah. I always thought they were somewhat butt buddies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which, having said that, uh, I listened to Jaron. I don't even know if I listened to him over the course of 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, and then I had an off exchange with him in his. I had a couple off exchanges with him. Just showed how ignorant he appears to be. And then I got out of his Telegram groups. And then Witsit, I will say I never liked Witsit, but Dave Weiss, he gets in the realm of speculation. He follows every little ADHD fleeting thought that he's ever had, you know. But there's something I've always liked about Dave Weiss, and I think that Dave Weiss, I think he's put in work with this app and everything. Him and Mark Sargent. I'm not a huge fan of Mark Sargent, but I will say Mark Sargent, unlike nobody else in the movement's helped us have huge meetups. And when I say huge, I mean 10 to 15 to 20 people showing up. And Dave Weiss's app has got a bunch of people to show up. So,
Oh yeah.
but Dave Weiss, he trips up my spidey senses a whole lot less than nearly any other. Even though a lot of the stuff he says is pure bullshit, but he comes up with some really good analysis from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said some stuff that's always kind of struck a chord with me. I mean, not anything necessarily about flat Earth, but just like he had a phrase like, "Can you prove 500 years exists?" And that, I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. You really can't, can you? Stuff like
Yeah,
that. And then the whole, you have a couple world wars and kill, 80 million people in a 40-year span. You can change history to whatever you want. I get that too, but
yeah,
well, more than 80 million, a couple 100 million.
yeah,
I mean, there's grains of truth to some of the stuff he says. He's just, you know what it is with him? He's a really good salesman and he's got a good personality. That's why he's likable. But I just wish his stuff was better.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think. He's a good salesman, but being in a sales industry for most of my adult life, I can very quickly sense somebody who's sincere and somebody who's full of shit. Sometimes the absolute best salesmen, believe it or not, are the worst salesmen because they're sincere and they're not going to do any of the sales stuff. They're going to make sure the person needs the product, they need the product, and they're not going to stop till the person has the product because they know it's the right product. And if it doesn't end up working, they honor their promise.
Yeah.
And I think Dave Weiss, if anything, I think Dave Weiss's sin is that sometimes his words precede his knowledge on a topic. But I think that, if I very first listened to Dave Weiss, I'd say, God bless, he's crazy. And then I'd tune into NASA and be like, oh, wait a minute here. Dave Weiss is perfectly reasonable, logical. And my point being that Dave Weiss has said some crazy things, but if you're talking about like NASA or full retard mode, he's maybe 10% or 5% or 1% of anything of the shit they've come up with.
No, that's true.
Yeah. But no,
My opinion of him tanked when he went on Professor Dave's and got absolutely spanked in front of 2 million people.
so I will tell you probably what I think happened. Well, I'm sorry. I'll tell you what I think happened there is Dave Weiss was paid to go on that show because you don't just go on these shows just because you can. You either get paid or you're paying, depending on. So if you want to go on somebody like Candace Owens or somebody like Joe Rogan, you pay. If you want to get on somebody who